Hello, welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James, and today I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How are you, mate?
Almost for a second, you almost forgot your name there for a second.
Dramatic pregnant pause.
But no.
Like you did just then. It was nicely done.
Yes. Oh, that's a bit too bright.
If we just hold these things long enough, people, they'll have that moment where they double take, especially if they are listening on a podcast feed, they'll have a moment where they'll double take, shit, something wrong with my phone. That's the dream with the pregnant pause. You hold it just long enough that they look down at their phone to check to see if something's gone wrong.
Well, not if you're playing a PS5 game, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, then something might genuinely be wrong, as I discovered just before we were recording. We'll talk about that next week, in the next couple of weeks when we're doing updates, I'm sure. But we are talking today about 2023. I know it's only August, and there's still plenty of games to come out before the year's out, the likes of God of War and all those sorts of things.
Plenty of games. Yeah, okay, sure, okay. Carry on.
Oh, go on. No, hang on.
No. I
I
just jumped the gun a bit because you sort of say, there's heaps of games coming, good games coming out this year, then you just laugh and go, yeah, what about?
Like games like Midnight Suns and Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy, except they got delayed. This week, we've seen the delay of both Midnight Suns into some really ambiguous window. They're also kind of splitting that launch between the next gen stuff, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and the PS4, Xbox One gen. So it looks like those ones will be coming a little bit after. How that compares with the PC, none of it's overly clear. They're just being delayed, and presumably into next year. Meanwhile, Hogwarts Legacy did have this 2022 release date, and they've slipped in, not a specific date, just a 2022 window, but they've now slipped into February 10th of 2023. Ooh.
Very precise date.
Yeah, they've set the exact date, and I'm thrilled that I actually managed to remember it then. But 2023, I mean, I guess this conversation's probably gone on a little bit over the course of the last few years, but every year we were in lockdown for at least portions, decent portions of the year, so you could understand why the games might ultimately get pushed back. Now that the world is, right or wrongly, mostly opened right back up again, and I guess the only COVID absences are if you've caught it and you're off work for a week or something like that. The world's mostly opened up, so game development has mostly returned to normal, and so it looks like 2023 might finally be that this is the year sort of year, because we've got those two games. There's Resident Evil 4, there's Dead Space. I
wrote a list down before we started.
Good, because I had those four as the big hitters.
Four big hitters. Okay, I'll read out some more.
Of course.
Okay, so Dead Space, yes, you said that. Forspoken.
Yep.
Hogwarts we already talked about. Resident Evil 4 Remake we talked about. Alan Wake 2. Another Forza Motorsports game.
Yeah, Motorsport always. Good point.
Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Redfall. Stalker 2. RoboCop. I just put RoboCop in there because I laughed at the trailer. Starfield. Star Wars Survivor. And Suicide Squad.
Just to name a few.
That's 13 games. I think I just said. That's just some of them. That's not all of them. There's a massive list. If you go just type in games coming out in 2023, it's almost like a novel of how many games are coming out. It's ridiculous. We thought, saying, October, November is going to be a busy month for gaming. 2023 in general is going to be like, what would you call, traffic jam of games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be... I mean, it looked like this year was potentially going to be that year for a while. It did look like there was going to be this log jam at the end of the year, and then a lot of those have started to shift out. But, I mean, I completely forgot about Alan Wake 2. My gut says that one probably won't come out next year, but there's Breath of the Wild 2 that is confirmed now for 2023.
Don't worry about that.
I know we don't have to worry about it.
People talk about excited about Breath of the Wild 2. Just don't worry about it. There's better games out there. Metroid Prime probably come out next year. Just
let's hope so.
Get that instead of Breath of the Wild. You'll thank me later for that.
Let's layer on top of that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm now skimming through a list here that's got
17,000 games on it.
The way things are shaping up, Hollow Knight Silksong probably won't be out this year, so that'll potentially be next year as well. Yeah, there's a pretty lengthy list of stuff here, and this is just top levels. Wolf Among Us 2 is meant to be next year as well. That's got me excited. It's not a long game like most of those, or a longer game like most of those. There's that Wolong Fallen Dynasty, the one from the Neo developers.
So there's been that many games. yeah, so it's been that many games. I've kind of forgot some of them, except for
Yeah.
Arc 2 because that's got Vin Diesel and it's going to be terrible. So we could
Yeah, I
just
think we
move
put a
on
line
from
through that
that.
already. So, yeah, you're right. It's a pretty stacked year already from the look of it. But I guess the nature of this episode. I mean, let's kind of dive back to your point about 2022 itself. Is there not much that you're overly looking forward to now for the remainder of the year?
Well, not really, because it would be the second God of War, but for two reasons. Is one, I don't have PS5.
You can get it on PS4 though.
Yeah, but sort of feel like you should play it on PS5. Get
That's
on the
fair.
more superior thing, because otherwise it's just. I find it's always like really rubbish graphics and terrible frame rates. But second and most importantly is, I haven't played Boy Simulator 2018. Is it 2018?
Yeah, 2018. I forgot that you hadn't played it.
Yeah, and I purchased it about, I don't know, 4 years ago as well.
2018.
And 2018, yeah. And I still haven't played it. I played like 20 other games in between. I was like, should probably play Gold War. Then I get distracted going, let's play Wolfenstein 2 instead, which is a stupid idea. Then I thought, I'll play Mafia 3 instead, which is also an incredibly stupid idea as well. I should have just played Boy Simulator 2018.
You can still fix this before November. It's not too late.
Yes, it's not too late to buy a PS5.
Well, even just play the original one.
Or Boy Simulator.
Yeah, to play Boy Simulator in the meantime. And yes, we can get you a PS5. That's fine. But I mean, I guess like I've got a little list that I've been building. I've got a fairly it's my notes. It's like one of the notes things on Apple. Sorry, as
you hold up your controller phone.
As I hold up a controller. Yeah, sorry. It's
not the controller phone. It's the new case.
It's the special new case that's really inconveniently sized. I got a backbone.
How do you fit that in does it fit in your pocket well?
No, it does.
No.
It does go in there. It just gets caught on the sticks. Like, there you go. That's
there you go.
I probably just deleted a whole bunch of text then. But anyway.
Oh, no.
Undo typing. Yeah, let's undo that. Yeah, I guess, like, I was looking through my little list that I got, that I originally wrote last year. I'm like, cool, this will be how I tick everything off last year. And then the list just builds with the shit that I didn't do this year and then continues into 2022. And now I've got a 2023 list as well. But, yeah, I look at the list and I guess there's plenty of things that I've got listed there that I don't necessarily see you going for. There's obviously a stack of JRPGs in that list that are like Square Enix is just dumping everything they've got in the next couple of months.
Buy sale, just like their brand.
Yeah. And to be fair, like some of it, I mean, is shaping up quite well. There's going to be a Player 2 Plays that is probably live by the time this episode of patch goes up for that Starfield Chronicle, which was one of the RPGs they announced during a State of Play early in the year. It's kind of a blend between XCOM style RTS and Final Fantasy Tactics style tactics, and it's pretty sweet actually from what I played from the demo there. That doesn't come out till October, but like they've got that, and they've got Valkyrie Elysium like a week after. They've got Star Ocean coming out. Apparently Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, the kind of remaster of that one, the PSP game, is coming still apparently the end of the year or beginning of next year. Yeah, I don't see you necessarily playing. No, actually, would you play Bayonetta? Because that's meant to be out in October. That's obviously.
I haven't played the other two yet.
You probably don't need to be fair.
Pretty much are Nintendo exclusives, which is really, really weird when you look at it, considering all the kid-friendly games, and then you got Bayonetta on its own.
Gear off, yeah. It's a weird sort of one. Gotham Knights, you gonna play?
What's that?
You gonna play Gotham Knights?
Yeah, of course I'm gonna play Gotham Knights. That's just silly.
And Callisto Protocol, I think we've both kind of agreed we're keen on that one.
Yes.
The Dead Space vibes.
With my buddy old pal Carl Urban as the main character.
Yeah, Carl. Yeah, good point. Like my list is a lot longer than that, but yeah, I'd imagine yours be far smaller thanks to the.
I'd say 2.
Ignoring.
I'd go 2.
Yeah, okay. Last was part 1 is in there.
It might be 3. Could be 3. Could be 3. The new and improved Boy Simulator 2022 could.
You might be so desperate
pique my interest if I play. I won't go that far. I'll just be really, really desperate and go buy a PS5.
Okay, that's fair. Well, we'll talk about that one off camera, but yeah, I guess like there's still plenty that I'm looking at there. But you're right, 2023 is shaping up in this. Just even based on the 13 or so titles that you listed before, like it's gonna be pretty crazy. And so how do we survive a year like that? And I guess maybe part of it is even what's the nature of some of these games, which is where actually you with that list that you had is kind of important because they'll want to give each other distance. No one wants to kind of get under each other's feet, not even because it's polite, but simply because they don't want to get crushed under the weight of stuff. But of course, we do get little exceptions to the rule because Forspoken and Dead Space come out like a day or two apart.
Just release them all at the same time. Just all 13 games.
Same
Go.
day.
Fight to the death.
Yeah.
No, don't do that. That's.
I suppose, yeah, your 13
Capcom will go out of business. Capcom out of.
Let's go through your list, actually. Like,
Yes.
how, I mean, even kind of a history thing, like, we can kind of maybe use to help guide us a little bit with some old games and those sort of things. Like, how long are some of these going to take? So, what was on your list again?
Well, we got Dead Space. So, what we said, that'd be
10.
about a 10-hour game.
So,
Forspoken.
and at least that's early in the year, so you can maybe knock that one out pretty quickly if you jump
You can knock that out in a week if you want. You can, no problem there. Then you can get onto Forspoken, which I would probably think would be
40.
a 30, 40 plus hour game.
I'd imagine. Even though it's like a real time action thing, I think it's still going to be long. There's a big world that they're trying to show off.
Oh, it's very big. It's huge.
Did I just move that with my freaking mind?
Yeah, it's great. And then you got Hogwarts would be about the same, I reckon. Or it could be longer. Who knows?
I don't know if it'll be longer, but yeah, I think. Hard to get a read because I guess we still haven't seen that much gameplay. 40's probably not a bad.
Well, we've seen someone. Wasn't someone flying around on a broom, or was that something else?
Yeah, probably. It could be one of the 5,000 other Harry Potter games that have ever existed. I guess it maybe depends on how keen people are to explore Hogwarts itself, because I think that's one of the things they're really trying to emphasize is like you can go into these nooks and crannies that you've never been able to see in the films or any other games before, and that's just because players can go anywhere and do anything at any time, so we've got to show it all. So if you're really a massive Potter fan, then 40 hours may not even be enough because you just want to go to every room and do every side quest and engage with every character and make all the connections between whatever time period this is and then what we kind of know from films and books.
If there's a cult of Voldemort somewhere in the Harry Potter.
I can't remember, was it set before or after?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Keep going, I'll try and...
Okay, so then we got the Resident Evil 4 remake. Well,
10?
being that is I'd say 10, if you go off other Resident Evil games, and being that it is a game from 2004 or something. I know it was on the GameCube when it first came out, so I'm going to go with...
Right. Yeah, you nailed that one.
So go with about 10 hours. Alan Wake 2, you would probably think the same, about, I'd say between 10 and 20 hours. Depending on how many episodes.
Came out in 2005 and was 15 and a half hours long, apparently, according to How Long to Beat.
Is that Resident Evil?
Yeah, that was Resident Evil.
Oh, there you go. I'd say Alan Wake 2 be about the same.
0, because we won't be playing it next year.
Well, there you go. 0 hours.
That's my tip. That's my tip there.
Well, Forza, whatever you feel like playing it for. It could be for 100 hours or 10 minutes. Depends what you feel like. Oh, here's a big one.
100 years before Harry Potter. Sorry, by the way. I've just got
100 years.
100 years before.
So no Voldemort.
No Voldemort.
Voldemort free. All right.
They'll find a way.
Spider-Man 2 would be quite easily a 50-hour game, I reckon.
It depends on what you want to do. Like, if you want to mainline that thing, like the original Spider-Man, if you want to mainline it, you can do it in 15 hours. Or less, probably.
Could. You could. But everyone loves Spider-Man. They'll just want to do everything, do cool Spider-Man shit, because that's what people want to do.
That tempting platinum will be there.
Oh, yeah. Should play that other game, too.
Yeah.
When I get a PS5.
Miles,
yes. I know it's on PS4, but...
No, you'll love it. I understand your reasoning. And it just means that when you get your PS5, you've got something to play straight out the gate.
I've got about 20 games to play on the PS5 when it comes out. Got that.
Yeah.
Returnal. Ratchet and Clank.
Well, let me know when the time comes you want to play Returnal. We'll play that together and we'll try and go through it. I need to, as I think I've mentioned in podcasts before, when I finished that game, my successful run wasn't in my account. It was in my US account.
Oh, no.
Because I had something... something else that I was playing for review at the same time, but I'd gotten a code from the US and... Oh, no. I got a code from the US and it was something that I didn't intend to play for anything more than a player 2 plays. So I didn't want those trophies potentially popping up my list and having a 1%er sitting there. So I'd been playing that game on that account, did the player 2 plays, bounced back to Returnal, and didn't realise that I was in I was playing in a different account. Had my successful run. Haven't been able to repeat it in my own
Oh
Like,
no!
I had the perfect run. Like everything was dropping for me.
Tell people like, I swear I did this. I swear I did it. I
mean, I can show people the trophies on the other account.
Like, okay, here you go.
Yeah, I can show
Switch
people the
over to the other
trophies on the other
account.
account, but
Seems a bit
I'd
dodgy.
like to do it
accounts.
again. And there's co-op now.
Oh yes, there is
So we
too.
can play it
That was their
co-op.
new update thing.
Yeah, with the Tower of Sisyphus and all that sort of stuff.
There you go. Then we got Redfall, which being to Bethesda be about 7 days.
Yeah, but I mean, it's that kind of co-op, like Borderlands style kind of co-op, four-player co-op
Slash
narrative
Dishonored.
thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously got that Dishonored sort of setting, but it's kind of a co-op approach like a Borderlands. So I don't know, 20?
I was thinking about 20 to 30.
A vampire
between.
story? Yeah.
This one I've got no idea about. Stalker 2.
That'll be a super linear first-person shooter. Give it 10 to 12, I reckon.
10 to 12. The old stuff. RoboCop, I'd give say about 60 hours.
Wait, do we have a RoboCop?
There is a
game coming out?
RoboCop game coming out. It looks terrible. It almost
Okay,
looks
so
like
0 hours.
it looks like those old like shooters on the PlayStation where you just move and you use your little wavy gun to shoot people.
Oh yeah, the old
It
light
looks
gun.
like that. But
Oh,
I don't know
shit.
if it's VR or not. It could be a sneaky VR game. We don't know.
Yeah, right.
Because
I
why
guess.
not? Why not be in VR and be RoboCop? It's everyone's dream when they were born in 1975.
Yeah,
Even though the movie came out in about 1988.
yeah,
or
but that's
somewhere
alright.
around
They were dreaming of what it could be, and then the film just made it reality.
there. Then they got the new Super Nintendo game and thought, oh, this is the greatest
This
thing
is
ever.
the shit.
But then, here's the big one. Or one of the big ones. Starfield.
50 plus.
50 plus. Yeah.
And I mean, I guess again you could do it a lot faster. I mean, you can beat Skyrim in 10 to 15, and
That's not playing Skyrim. If you asked anyone
Exactly.
that, like, oh, I did it in 15 hours, like, you didn't even play the game.
Yeah,
That's
you
not
can do
Skyrim.
it faster than that. You have to be making a conscious decision. Like, I don't care about it, which I guess, like, and this goes into kind of how do you handle a year like 2023. Potentially, that might be how some people play because, I mean, depending on when Starfield comes out, and I mean, they're still talking about kind of the first half of the year. So let's say it appears somewhere near Resident Evil as an example. If you want to play both of those, I mean, the more sensible option, I guess it depends on how they come out. But suppose Starfield comes out a little bit first. Well, you can look and go, well, I can mainline this in 10 to 15, play Resident Evil, and then come back and play, and then go and explore the other stuff in Starfield after that. So, depending on people's playstyles, it could be 15. I'd imagine the both of us would be minimum 50 as we kind of go and explore side quests and
Get distracted.
yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Go down a cave somewhere. We don't know where it's going to go. That
Exactly.
sort of thing.
And there's like 1,000 planets or whatever that shit was. So
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the 1,000. Yeah, don't tell me to try and go to 1,000 planets. That's just...
because we'll try.
Oh, yeah. Don't you worry. I'll be one of those people dumb enough to do it.
How long
probably-
can it take me to do 10? 10 hours. Huh. Can I play this game for
1,000
1,000 hours?
hours.
All right.
All right. I will not see the day of any sunlight
Light
for
of
the
day
next
ever again.
15 years
Yeah.
to get to all 1,000 planets. Do you get a trophy at the end of it? Does Bethesda like, hey,
Well, not getting any trophies for it, that's
Hey.
for sure.
hey, you get outside for once?
Fucking Microsoft.
Be like Robin Williams in Jumanji. What year? What year is it?
That's a nice
There-
reference. I like that one.
And then we got Star Wars Survivor.
That feels like a 15.
I was going to
15 hour
say a
thing.
20 to 30
20?
hour game. Well, it depends. It depends. If you just go do the story, I'd say probably around that 15 to 20 hour.
Depends on if you run into any big fuck off toads again.
Or,
Remember the
There
one
you
from
go.
early on in the game?
or how many
Like-
bounty hunters encounter.
Jedi
Just
Fallen
dead.
Order was 17 hours, so I guess I'll have to walk back what I said. Yeah, probably 20 minimum.
Well, we'll say like, 20 if you're fighting a large frog in a hole.
But then
Yeah,
again,
I saw that.
there are difficulty levels for that, so at least you can dial it back.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
I didn't
Jedi Fallen
realise.
Order had difficulty levels, so like if it was anything was kicking your ass, you could just slide it back into easy, and it's what
didn't know that.
Soulsborns should always be doing.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, no, just
They'll come after you. Like, oh yeah, screw you and your easy mode. Like,
Oh, I
buddy,
didn't play.
you
I didn't play Jedi on easy, but like it's pretty.
I don't
cool
think
that
I
they've
did
got it.
either. But still, like, I mean, if people complain, like, oh, you should put on easy, it's like, it's okay. There's a difficulty for you to play. It's called hard. You can go play that.
Yeah.
Just let all the other people play easy.
It's fine.
Yeah. Just don't
Assholes.
be a dick about it. Just because, it's meant to be like that. Great. Go do it like that.
But it can also be like this.
It can also, magically. People like to explore games, not just get absolutely reamed by a monster at the same time for 20 times.
To be fair, that's what happened with me and the Toad before I finally got it.
That's why I was going to mention the Toad, because you told me about that, how many attempts you had against that old Toad. I remember when I first saw it, when I played it, I thought, yep, I'm going to avoid that Toad and come back later. Came back later, absolutely destroyed it, because I had
powered up a bit.
I had the power to just... It was just a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Not go down the first time and get absolutely just mauled to death by a Toad.
It was one of those.
That was the biggest talking point.
I guess kind of knowing
it
was there, and even knowing it was kind of a Souls game that, like, you drop your stuff and you're like, I want to go in and get it. I don't want to leave it behind. And I know that, like, I could run in there, grab. I can't even remember what you drop when you die now.
I think it's your skill points and all that. Skill
points. Yeah,
your Jedi points or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever the currency was. Like, I know I could run in there, grab it, and leave. But if I'm running back in there, I may as well have another crack and see if I can improve. And eventually I did. Yeah, 20 plus attempts later, and I killed it. But
no, that's all people talked about when that game first came out. It wasn't about, the gameplay, what it was like, this or that. No, it was a goddamn Toad that people just could not beat. The spider was worse. I hated the spider. Did you never encountered the spider? The white spider? You casually have no
spider, no.
Oh, it's horrible. You just casually walk into a cave, and then boom, that's the end of you. That's
probably maybe if I saw the footage again, I'd remember, but
yeah,
or tried it again, it'd jog my memory. But no, otherwise,
no, don't need to worry about it. It gives me nightmares every night. That white spider.
Shit.
No, it doesn't.
20 hours for Survivor.
Yeah, 20 hours for Survivor, and then finally Suicide Squad.
Oh, see, that's that co-op style game again. Like, that's your Borderlands style experience again. So, I mean, it's not going to be short. Even the Arkham games are still long, even without that.
Dude, they're about 20 hours if you just go the story and not explore.
So maybe based on that, minimum 30?
Yeah, I'd go with 30. It is a tough one because you sort of don't know exactly what style of game it's going to be. Is it just going to be another sort of Batman style game, or are they going to go in a different direction because it is the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, who knows?
And they're just more just a run gun, beat 'em up.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be hard for them to accidentally slip into the mold of Avengers, where even replaying some of these missions just isn't fun, and so you find yourself just mainlining it because maybe the story's really good, for example, and I expect it probably will be because Rocksteady are pretty good like that. But then all of a sudden, you're not getting any replay value from any of the other stuff. You're just grinding down the main critical path there, and so you end up finishing the game nice and fast. So it could be an interesting one. Depends on the nature of all that other content around the main path. 30 seems about right, though. I reckon.
30. I reckon 30.
Not that I like that with all the numbers that we've already spoken about so far.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot.
That's
for 13 games.
Keep in mind, we're meant to get an Assassin's Creed. Remember, there was this Rift that they were eyeing off earlier this year. That's going to get delayed to next year. And there's a Ubisoft Forward coming next month, where I believe that's when they're talking about it.
So there's going to be another Far Cry game, probably.
Yeah, probably Far Cry 7 or like a spin-off from 6.
Probably another Division game, because we haven't seen one for a while.
Well, they're still working on a mobile.
Splinter Cell, the remake, or whatever the hell they're doing.
I don't know.
Or they just given up on it. They just want to show people 3 green lights and then just troll everyone, go, joke's on you.
Psych. That's it.
Psych. Prince of Persia. Oh yeah, what happened to Prince of Persia?
That's getting a massive rework. That thing's an absolute basket case at the moment, so that'll be a while. But yeah, I mean, then you can add, and I didn't mention it before, I don't know why I didn't, Final Fantasy 16's next year, so again, for anyone who wants to play that, there's 50 plus hours gone.
What about the Outer Worlds 2? Or has that just been no mention whatsoever?
No, I reckon, Avowed. I reckon that'll come out first. I reckon I could be wrong, I reckon that's the next one on the docket. Apparently when the Outer Worlds 2 was shown, apparently there was, and it's only a rumour, it can't and won't be confirmed, but apparently Microsoft had actually asked for more footage of Avowed, and someone, I don't know, somewhere between Microsoft and Obsidian got the message wrong. I'm like, hey, no, let's get a trailer out for Outer Worlds 2 instead. So we got a trailer for Outer Worlds 2 as opposed to new footage for Avowed.
Oh, well, maybe they just went and thought, nah, we're not having any of that. Outer Worlds 2 it is.
Yeah, and so, like, if that's the case, then presumably Outer Worlds 2 is quite a way off if they were just like, oh shit, we need to cobble a trailer together for this game. That we're doing, but, like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll just wait for the...
out there. People have seen gameplay too. It's not public, but...
say, maybe wait for next year's E3 and they'll show their Xbox showcase of what games will come out for that year. And if the Outer Worlds isn't there, then probably could be. Could be later on in 2024. We never know.
True. So this year's not really that year for you at the moment, but like we've obviously had even portions of this year or other years where there has been like this stack of games that you're keen on all coming out in a pretty short space of time. Like what's typically and I guess this is now sharing our sort of experiences and those sorts of things for people watching this. Like what's your sort of approach when it comes to, holy shit, there's this stack of games that I want to play and I'd really like to play all of them soon. Like separating content and those sort of things and, patched and all that sort of stuff. Like how do you try and juggle that yourself?
I don't. I just go, what do I get? This game, that game. You just don't know. Whatever you find first. Like, yeah, I'll grab that game first. Buy it. Leave it there for 4 years. Go grab another game that came out and just buy that one. Yeah. And just keep buying games for absolutely no reason because they're on sale. As EB always have their biggest sale ever, so you just buy more and more games.
I don't know how they can keep up with themselves.
Which, to be honest, you probably don't need the games anyway. You just, for some reason, just buy them. Just for instance, God of War, which I still yet haven't played.
You'll fix that. That's fine.
Well, yeah, we'll fix that. We'll fix that. Definitely. It's going to be a tough one because, what do I say, 13 games. That's
some of them are going to have to be close to one another. Like, that's just how it's going to have to go.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's
more than one a month already.
I don't think they're all going to talk to each other and go, okay, we'll have January, you have March, who wants February?
Yeah, really, it only kind of becomes a case of like whoever kind of gets in first. There's a first in best dressed thing, which is where the ones that like that you mentioned before that we do know already. So Hogwarts now has a date. Forspoken, Dead Space, and Resident Evil all have dates. Midnight Suns will drop in there somewhere, presumably at this point. Like those ones that kind of get in early for whatever reason. I mean, we've known about the Resident Evil date since June now at this point.
It's the Capcom or whatever they showed.
They showed it on State of Play. Like the June State of Play, just before E3 actually, or the E3 period kind of kicked off. So I think there's a degree of that, and then hopefully other publishers look at that and go, okay, let's try and move around it. But you get the occasional circumstance where, like, and Gamescom is a week and a half away or something like that, and that's where I assume we're going to get a whole bunch of other game announcements. But typically, sometimes you get release dates kind of fall at the same time because none of them know what the other's doing, and it's only when they both come to this event, the Jeff Keighley event or whatever, and announce their dates, and they're like less than a week apart. And you go, oh shit!
It's the old game of chicken.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Just release that game, they'll get in before you. Like, oh damn it!
And then you wait. Like everyone's kind of watching and waiting to see who's gonna fall out first. Like who's gonna duck and run.
Maybe you need to do a new like play 2 draft instead of like seeing what game gets a high score, what game gets delayed.
Yeah, maybe you pick 5 games trying to get the lower score, so all the games get delayed.
Yeah, see, bonus points for delayed games.
Yeah,
it's like because it seems to be more of a thing these days. It's just right, delay. Yeah, sorry, we've been working so hard on the game. However, unfortunately, we need to delay it for another 6 months. Like, okay,
great.
Then everyone gets angry. Like, yes, victory! I can play this. I can finally play this game that's coming out.
We'll see what happens. I should win the draft this year if we're playing that game with all my games that seem to be delayed. Breath of the Wild, Hollow Knight. There's something else I'm not thinking of, but shit. Good draft year this one. I was going for 3 in a row.
Ooh.
I think it's over. I have to actually update the spreadsheet and have a bit of a look. I haven't really done anything with it for months, but I assume it's probably not going well for me. Yeah, my tact is panic, firstly, and then hope to hell.
Are you going to have enough money for all the collector's editions that are going to be coming out?
Yeah, there's a lot of those games that I would want a collector's edition for. So that's a whole other wrinkle in the mix.
You have to sell some of those things behind you there.
No.
No.
I'll sell myself first. No.
sell the bench first.
Yeah. Okay,
Paul's coming live from a milk crate next year.
Yeah, just trying to think. I suppose we haven't spoken about too many Sony exclusives yet, and so some of those will. I mean, Spider-Man's obviously one exception. I'll absolutely buy a collector's edition for when that comes out. But yeah, I think like for me, it's firstly panic, and then secondly, it's hope that there's no game that comes along that's suddenly like crack to me. So right now, there's a stack of games that I can and should be playing. Cult of the Lamb is one of them. There's an embargoed game that I'll talk about later in the week that I'm playing. And yet, despite all of that, I am so hooked on 2 Point Campus at the moment that I just I'm trying to 3-star every single level, and I'm just falling down that well because I'm trying to tick them all off and get everything the perfect sort of way. And I should be playing these other games, but I keep falling for 2 Point Campus over and over and over again.
Should be playing Monster Hunter Rise, but instead
yeah, should be playing Sunbreak.
2 Point Campus instead.
Like, yeah, it's a great game, don't get me wrong, and I'm going to talk about it endlessly, I'm sure, come patch updates at the end of the month, but like I think that's
the only game you're talking about. It could be the only game. 2 Point Campus, and that's all he's played for the month. Played this other game, can't talk about that because it's embargoed, but I played 2 Point Campus instead.
And 45 minutes later, it's finally your turn.
There's like, what have you played? Just some games.
Who cares? We've got to wrap this episode up. Let's go.
That's the end of the episode. Just ignore me for the... No, don't worry about it. That's the end of the episode.
There's panic. There's hope that I don't totally fall hook, line, and sinker for something. But then, other than that, it's... I don't know about you. It's probably the same for a lot of people watching. It's suddenly late nights. Like, that's...
And where's all your dollary dues going to come to buy all those games?
Games writing. Paid writing gigs. Paid writing gigs.
Some people can't do that because they're dyslexic or can't write.
Or can't write. Or just aren't fortunate enough to have that sort of thing. So yeah, like, I mean, it's a full-time... Like, there's a full-time income that I've got primarily. So it's just start banking those things early. But...
put in the piggy bank.
Exactly.
Get out the kids' savings and just...
Mate, there's an account with 1,200 in it right now that's looking at me for God of War, and if, God forbid, I decide to hang on to both versions of that edition, then they're both covered. I won't do that. I desperately won't do that. But
he's lying.
I keep saying that to myself.
He's got a secret account somewhere. It's probably under that rug there somewhere that no one knows about. There's a safe.
Yeah, look... That whole God of War thing, like I pre-ordered the one at EB because I was worried I wouldn't get the one at JB, which is the one that I really wanted. Then I managed to get the one at JB, but now I still have the EB order. And I have like floated the edition out for people, like, hey, do you want it? And no one's bitten yet, so it just means that it's sitting there looking at me.
How much is it?
Probably 300 or something.
300? What's it? Oh.
It comes with Thor's hammer.
Oh.
Mjolnir. Both editions do. It was just kind of some of the other knickknacks that were in the fanciest edition that kind of meant that I wanted the JB one. But it's just the Jotnar edition versus just the collector's edition.
Now when you say Thor's hammer, I'm thinking I want Thor's hammer. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just thinking of the Marvel. I'm just talking about the Marvel films. Like, it's not Chris Hemsworth. It's the guy from Remember the Titans that's voicing it. Not Chris Hemsworth.
I'll send you the link later if you decide you want it. You can have it. But
It'll be my first collector's edition. We can do an unboxing together. You do your unboxing of whatever you got.
There we go.
Then I'll do. There we go. I will purchase it. I've got a whole heap of cash I can't get rid of.
Did we just straight up do a transaction live on the show then?
Yeah. Now people are going to ask.
I've just sold you.
I've got a whole heap of cash in my wallet I haven't used in 2 years. It just keeps building up and I've got to get rid of it.
What a gift. What a blessing. You just having cash building up. That's a nice quality.
You can thank the pandemic for that because we're not able to go anywhere. People's like, oh, don't want your dirty cash anymore. Just put it on the card. Okay then.
Fair enough. So you just got okay. That works. That's awesome. I would just go down to the bank and deposit it and then spend it by tapping shit. But
No,
Well,
don't want to go to. Don't trust banks.
congratulations on the God of War collector's edition for the end of the year.
I was like, oh, I've got this collection. I've got this all behind me. What have you got? Something with a hammer.
I got a hammer.
Some guy.
You
I don't
can
know
hang,
who.
like,
I don't know whose hammer it is. I just got a hammer.
You can just like attach a string to it and then hang it off the back where that hat is that you've got. Which
I thought you said you go attach
people can kind of see the bottom of the hat there.
that there.
Like they probably couldn't tell that it's a hat actually because a little bit of
I
it's
thought for a
cut off.
second you guys say put it on a string and just swing it around. I'm thinking that's going a bit too far.
Mid-show.
I know we're talking about Thor and the Chris Hemsworth guy, but that's just going too far. Just go.
Because he twirls it that way, doesn't he? Yeah.
I mean, the hammer could go through the wall.
Like a lasso.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. So then it's late nights. That's the main thing. Late nights is what gets me through it. And to be fair, and we'll talk about it again more probably come updates time. But like the backbone today has just like on its own today outside of the hell with it. We'll tell the story from before. It opens a lot of possibilities up. Being able to like I had a controller like a grip thing that would attach to my PS4 controller, and then I use the remote play app and I'd play it on that, but it wasn't as reliable and it's a bit clunky because you've got to imagine a controller with then like a bit sticking off the top that you then stick your phone into, so it kind of took up a lot of space and it was there's screws and stuff, but it if it starts to get loose it falls backwards, all that sort of stuff. So the backbone today has like already proved its worth because I sat there putting the baby to sleep today, rocking in the chair, and she eventually fell asleep and I just sat the phone below her line of sight, turned the brightness down to a point, and then was able to sit there and play. The downside, as we kind of discussed before the recording, is that my wife didn't know otherwise. She'd finished putting my son to bed. I was still in there playing remote play PS5. She decided, hey, I want to play Two Point Campus, and fired up the PlayStation and got me killed midway through a run in Cult of the Lamb, which wasn't great. But the whole thing unlocks possibilities, which is awesome. So that'd be how I get some of the hours up. I lost your audio for a sec there, mate.
Yeah, that's because I put it on. I put it on the
Still very quiet.
The mute button. I pressed the mute button and then forgot to turn it on. It's real professional.
And then in the process I kind of knocked my cord a little bit loose, and so I thought you just went real quiet all of a sudden. I don't know.
You said you can't hear me. I thought, oh, hang on a second, and I just went this. If you do this and don't, for some reason, you just keep doing that constantly.
There's that pregnant pause again for people going, oh shit, what happened?
I mean, I could press this button too if I wanted to swear, but I'm not going to do that because I can just.
He's got his own dump button. It's awesome.
I got my own swear button. That's what I can do. Just don't use it.
I'm a big fan of that. Any other thoughts on surviving the 2023 crush of games next year?
Yeah, good luck. You're going to need it. Yeah. You're well and truly going to need it.
Is next year actually going to be that year that we always talk about? That's like, do you think it'll actually play out that way?
Oh yeah, we've talked about it for years. Like, I think we said 2022 is going to be a big year.
2021's going to be the year, then 2022.
Then they all got delayed till 2023, and there we go. Right, this is the big year because even within the first 3 months there's a lot of good games coming out.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 at least of the big hitters.
Yeah, that's already the start of a good year. Then you got another 9 months of anything else that wants to come out and just surprise us.
Yeah, it's going to get ugly.
Nintendo games that just magically appear and go, oh yeah.
Well, that is the other factor that we haven't really discussed. Obviously, there is Breath of the Wild 2, and that's obviously going to be huge. But yeah, I mean, you joked about it before, but Metroid is now due. Like we're now's probably about the right time for us to get a proper showing of that. And
so we haven't heard about Metroid Prime 4 for a good 4 years.
Well, it was about the time that Bayonetta 3 was announced, that they kind of announced, hey, we're kind of taking it over and we're starting from scratch. So there's been a full development cycle there now. There's no reason why this thing wouldn't be pretty close. I reckon 2022 might be the year for that as well. So,
just another game. Yeah, jeez.
Just another one to add to the list. Hell, Kingdom Hearts 4 is in development. Who knows what's going to happen with that?
Oh, no.
It's Dragon Quest 12. Like, it's going to be a year.
It's going to be huge.
And yeah, good luck to anyone who's kind of a fan of lots of different games and lots of different genres, because you're going to have far too much to play and not enough time to do it. Get a backbone, people. Get a backbone.
Just any friends you used to have, just ignore them. Just to say goodbye to them.
Make sure your December 31st, 30 days, September, April, June, November. Yep. Your December 31st, make sure is a big one, because you may not see him again till the next December 31st.
The next year, maybe the next 2 years. You never know.
Well, yeah, 2024 could be big too.
You could
Is
be like
Wolverine
we
meant to be
said,
that year? Wolverine's meant to be 2024.
possibly, or was
I
that
feel
the
like
year
it was
after? I
Spider-Man and
couldn't
then
remember.
Wolverine the year after. Who knows?
But like I said, you will at the end of 2022 look like Robin Williams from Jumanji.
Yeah.
At the start. The start.
We're also going to get The Last of Us multiplayer next year as well.
Oh, there you go. There's another one. Just
To just
the factions. Is it the factions?
or whatever it ends up being called. Yeah. It's going to be full on. Good luck, everyone. That's where we'll wrap things up. If you enjoyed this episode of Patched, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live on the channel. That includes more Patched, Player 2 Plays, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks, lower tiers, early access, higher tiers, monthly episode exclusives, and finally, Twitter. Matto?
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for myself. The website's Player2au. Not that in 2023 either of us will have the time to be using those platforms because we're too busy trying to keep on top of all the games.
Well, I'm pretty sure all of next year is just going to be patch updates every week.
Every week. What have you played?
52
16 games since last
52
week.
episodes are just updates. That's it. No news.
I guess the final note on this whole thing before we actually end the episode, we didn't even talk about indies.
See, oh Jesus, that's insane.
That's the thing that really blows it, wide open. Is like there's going to be huge, incredibly awesome indies, and again, Hollow Knight could be amongst it. But
and also too. Oh no, I was going to say, apart from Bethesda, not one Xbox studio was mentioned, except for Starfield and Redfall.
Yeah.
And I don't recall anything else. And can we put Hellblade in there too?
Surely. Yeah, surely, possibly. But interestingly, and this is the cherry on top for the whole conversation, we'll end it on this beautiful note. Everyone, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next week. And Call of Duty will not be out next year.
Oh, how would you feel?